This idea of bringing your gallon jug of water and making yourself drink it non-stop may not be the best course of action. In this little video, we will discuss the myth of water. I am aware that you were instructed to consume 8 glasses of water daily. I was raised with the belief that everyone is aware of the advice to do that. I will, however, eventually learn who they are. Because whenever I come across an idea that everyone seems to be following, we should proceed cautiously since, as time goes on, it comes out that the majority of such suggestions prove to be untrue. I suppose the general belief is that you should consume half of your body weight in ounces of alcohol. Thus, 100 ounces is 200 pounds. That equates to 12.5 glasses of water daily. That's 8-ounce glasses and a lot of water. Let's simply go over this. First, is it true that 60% of the body is made of water? No, that is untrue. Actually, not a single millimeter of your body is made entirely of water. Electrolyte fluids are everything. Your blood, urine, and lymph are all examples of bodily fluids that contain electrolytes. That's minerals. These fluids contain calcium, salt, potassium, and a host of other elements. That is kind of a falsehood because it isn't just pure water. Second, the body is incapable of telling when it is thirsty. I adore this because, among other things, it can sense a variety of sensations including hunger, thirst, and hot and cold temperatures. You see the world via 52 perceptions, so when someone tells you, well, sometimes when you're hungry, you're really thirsty, they're probably making something up. Are you sure you want to know more about what water does to your body? Then, definitely keep watching this video. The third reason is that drinking more water can help you lose weight since it flushes out fat. Nobody has ever lost a single gram of fat by increasing their water intake. It's untrue. Since fat dissolves in fat rather than water, increasing your water intake won't make it go away and help you lose weight. It is not going to occur. Try this. Take a slab of fat bacon, add water to it, shake it, and watch to see if the fat dissolves. Or they advise drinking more water, as eating more will result in consuming fewer calories, correct? Due to the fact that you won't be as hungry. Yes, until you need to go to the restroom, that is. Fourthly, water eliminates poisons. Once more, poisons are fat-soluble rather than water-soluble, which means that they won't wash anything out. This also applies to pesticides, insecticides, herbicides, and medications. It will become lodged in the fat. Therefore, increasing your water intake won't make those go away. Intriguing new information on the potential of water to hydrate cells generally. The first thing you should understand is what hydration is. Are you simply drinking water in your cells? No, it's not in fact. How is the water able to enter and exit the cell? Electrolytes, which are like these electrically charged minerals that are in varying amounts within and outside the cell, help the water enter and exit the cell through tiny channels. A completely hydrated cell has the appropriate concentration of electrolytes both within and outside the cell. You will notice a specific flow that either goes inside or outside the cell. A dehydrated cell is essentially an imbalance of electrolytes and fluid. It's not just a lack of water, with the appropriate amount of fluid. In actuality, consuming too much water can cause dehydration in some areas of your body and dilute critical electrolytes. A disorder known as hyponatremia is characterized by low blood salt levels. One reason could be that you recently consumed a large amount of salt-free pure water, which diluted the sodium in the cells. It's quite risky. You could experience brain inflammation or perhaps go into a coma. So, drinking water alone doesn't keep us hydrated. On the other hand, I believe that you should drink water as well. I'm not against it. However, it might not be the best idea to just force yourself to drink water all day long while carrying a gallon jug with you. Particularly if you begin to ignore the natural thirst signal that your body uses to determine whether or not you are thirsty. You could get into problems if you force your body to drink a lot of water when you're not thirsty, especially if you exercise. An amazing book about hydration has been written by an exercise physiologist who has studied long-distance and even ultramarathon runners. The book discusses how drinking a lot of water when one isn't thirsty can lead to low sodium levels, which can have a serious negative impact on one's health. Additionally, drinking a lot of other fluids throughout the day can have a diuretic effect. When you consume caffeine-containing beverages like coffee, tea, or sodas, you may actually lose more water and become dehydrated. Along with alcohol, everything that contains caffeine dehydrates you greatly. When was the last time you drank a lot of alcohol? If so, you will be very dehydrated the following morning. Your lips are dry and you get a headache because of this. Alcohol is a diuretic, which means it tends to dehydrate you more than it hydrates the cell. You require all of the following electrolytes: magnesium, calcium, chlorides, potassium, and sodium. You possess a mechanism to detect thirst. Yet, we are not always aware of it. We simply have to force our bodies to consume a lot of water because that is the way things are. However, he examined studies that weren't sponsored by businesses like Gatorade and analyzed a ton of data, discovering that even long-distance runners have problems when they consume excessive amounts of water when they are not thirsty. The golden rule, in my opinion, should be to always drink when you're thirsty and never to push yourself to drink too much. On the other hand, if you're prone to kidney stones, you should be drinking at least 2.5 liters of fluid every day. But I would also add electrolytes to that, since you can start to dilute these electrolytes. I've been wondering why drinking carbonated water makes me feel so much better than drinking plain water, and I didn't know the reason until recently. I will thus also share this with you, as well as several other fascinating facts about carbon dioxide, CO2, so the way that carbonated beverages like soda, club water, cellar water, LaCroix, or any other kind of carbonated water are carbonated has something to do with CO2. I feel more hydrated when I drink carbonated water, even if the addition of this gas CO2 to the water does cause it to become slightly acidic, since it eventually converts into carbonic acid unless it is kept slightly differently than these bicarbonates in water. I feel better overall, and my digestion is improved when I consume carbonated water. As of right now, I couldn't discover any studies on consuming carbonated water. All of the topics I'm discussing have parallel study, and I'll mention that in one saint there was a notable rise in the parasympathetic nervous system. Activation by raising CO2, which is the mechanism that inhibits the fight-or-flight response. In my clinic, I employed heart rate variability technology, which is used to monitor parasympathetic nervous system activity. This system aids in healing, digestion, and sleep quality. Let's examine a few more items I discovered that are connected to this. This is very interesting, especially in relation to CO2. I couldn't find any information on this, but consider this. When you deprive a tissue of CO2, you can actually develop alkalosis, which is a state of being too alkaline. If you take a normal cell and then a cancer cell, and we look at the pH of each one, the cancer cell is actually more alkaline now. The outside of the cell is more acidic because of all the byproducts, lactic acid, things like that. Thus, if CO2 does not convert to carbonic acid, an excessively alkaline state may result. I then wanted to determine whether increasing CO2 had any bearing on the size of tumors or the ability to stop the spread of cancer, and I discovered a ton of fascinating research in this regard. It appears that CO2 is a very strong anti-tumor gas. It may both trigger apoptosis, which kills cancer cells, and impede metastasis, which is an intriguing property. In addition to preventing suicide, it also blocks a highly intriguing gene called H-alpha, which is related to hypoxia and is implicated in the mechanism that changes a normal cell from being cancerous. This may not make sense unless you realize that CO2 permits oxygen to enter the tissues. It's really interesting stuff, and I could chat about it for hours, but I won't do that to you. Now I have hopefully given you some food for thought. This brings us to the end of this video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Remember well, continue to drink well in moderation for the best results. Thanks for watching. Until next time. Cheers!